And right now, I'm going to quickly just take you through the worksheet that I have developed for you. And this has been one of the most helpful tools that I have ever learned when I started my journey of personal development and self-work. So what this worksheet is meant to do is basically, this is your own personal tool that you can use both during a situation that is emotionally charged. Let's say you're talking to your manager and he or she says something, criticizes something, and you feel this compelling desire to either cry or express yourself in a disproportionate way. So this tool can help you respond from a place of calm. So do this kind of reality testing, critical thinking, problem solving that I spoke about before in the emotional intelligence inventory. So to do that, the first thing you need to learn is practicing this model by yourself in advance. And therefore, it is helpful to take a situation right now in your mind and bring it into your mind's eye. And think of a moment in time when you have been challenged from an emotional perspective and you reacted, such as, for example, the case that Mace shared with us in the beginning of the workshop. So bring a situation of that kind to your mind. And then with that case, we're going to work through the ABCDE model. Actually, the model itself is the ABCD model. That's the original cognitive behavioral change model developed by Albert Ellis, as I explained before. And I added the other letters because, and you will see why as we go through the document. So we start with an activating event. That's what A stands for in this abbreviation. And for example, the activating event in Mace's case is where the neighbor crossed the boundaries. So we don't have any insight on what kind of boundaries there were, but you, as you do your work through this worksheet, can go as deep in your self-reflection, much deeper than I can do with Mace's case in this case, because I don't have the details. So for example, let's say that you went on a date and your date did not contact you for 2 days. So this would count as the activating event. For those of you who are going through this document right now and actually are doing the exercise as we speak, then this is your chance to write down what has happened. So what was the situation? Just describe that as clearly as you can. That's where you write your activating event. Then you move on to the next step of the process, which is examining the beliefs that occurred as a result of that event, right? So before you expressed yourself, or before you exploded, before you told that date that he's a loser and he should disappear out of your life or whatever, there's something that has happened within yourself in order to open up the well or the deep hole of that negative reaction, right? So what is that belief? What kind of belief could have done that? And this is where you would explore such thoughts or ideas as, he does not like me. What could be going through your head in that moment in time? He thinks I'm not attractive enough, or he is not interested enough, right? So then there is a belief, I am undesirable, I am not attractive, I am not worthy, or something of that kind. And this is the step where you would examine what that belief is. And it's this belief that we need to work through, because it is this belief that causes the reaction. It is not the external circumstance that does. The external circumstance merely highlights something. It merely triggers or mirrors something. The belief that we have within causes the negative explosive behavior or reaction or response. Can I see some thumbs up? Are everybody still following me? Does this all make sense still? Perfect, thank you. Okay, Thank you. I'm saying bye to Jisoo, who is privately letting me know that she has to run.
Yeah,
bye,
sorry. We'll join next time.
Thanks for joining. Yeah. Just download the worksheet and you can just...
I already did. Thank you.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Okay, so then we come to the third step, which is the consequences, right? And now the consequence is exactly that behavior that we just described earlier. So first, there is an event, something happens, then there is the belief. So the second part is our belief about that. Oh, I'm unworthy, I'm not appreciated, I'm not heard, I'm not seen. That's the core of the situation. That's the peak of the pitch, right? So we want to get to that. And then when we get to that, we also can identify, well, how did I react in this situation? I don't know if Mace wanted to slap that person. I don't know what you did, Mace, but or if we take the situation that was shared from a participant last time where she said that she cried in front of a CEO, that's the consequence. So it is my belief that I am unworthy that has caused me to cry. It is not that with the words of that person. The words of that person merely pointed to my place of pain. So now I responded from that place of pain. And it is not the fault of that person. It is the pain that wants to be healed. So therefore, it's important to observe the beliefs, and because it's those are our tools, or those are our indicators of where the pain resides and what needs to be worked through. Then we come to letter D. So this is the fourth step in the process, where we disengage or detach from the situation. And that is an important part, and it's difficult to do, but if you pay attention really well, and if you become very committed to this process, you will notice that there's always an opportunity to detach. For example, the participant who shared the situation with the crying in front of the CEO, she could say, yeah, but I was in a meeting and I could not disengage from that situation. I could not take space because I was right there surrounded by 10 different people. So if you think about it, actually, there is a way to disengage even in this situation. You can just excuse yourself for a bathroom break. Nobody will ever blame you for having to go quickly to the bathroom or having to pick up the phone, for example, if something is urgent, right? So there's always a way to create room or opportunity for you to disengage and detach from the situation which is causing the reactive reaction or response. And when you do that, that gives you the opportunity to examine what's going on. As you go through this process often enough, I have good news, it becomes like automated. It becomes mechanical. So it becomes as easy as breathing. But it takes about 6 to 10 rehearsals or preparations before it can become mechanical, as is with every kind of new skill that we learn in life. So the more often that you would do this process by yourself, even as we are going now through a case that has happened already, even if you do this at home, not during the situation itself, that is already a way of priming yourself in the future to not repeat the same type of reactive behaviors. And not most importantly, I am most interested in helping you not have the need to react. It is not about managing the behavior. It is about getting to the core of the wound, the core of the pain, and healing that, so that you do not even are feeling the compulsion or the desire to react, or the need to react. Sorry, I lost my words there for a second. So then when you detach, that gives you the chance and the room to edit that belief, and as well as reaction, right? So that gives you the time and the space where you can go through, is what I'm observing really correct? This is where you become your best or your worst, actually, judge, your worst disputer. So this is where we're disputing the belief and disputing what you are perceiving. it is always good to remain rational, test reality, especially when it comes to emotions, right? So does the fact, for example, in the case of the date, does the fact that he is not calling me really mean that I'm unworthy? Does the fact that he hasn't reached out for 2 days really mean that I'm not likable? You know, does the fact that my manager has said ABCD really mean that I am incompetent, as in the case of the person who cried in front of the CEO? So just asking yourself this question, this is a way of testing reality and introducing critical thinking. And when we introduce critical thinking, we're actually mitigating that emotion. So critical thinking is what helps us balance the emotional response. Then we come to the last 2 parts, and these last 2 parts are only relevant when you are doing this exercise not on the spot. So if you would be doing this exercise on the spot as something is occurred or something is occurring and you're being triggered, then you would come to ABCD, right? You would dispute your beliefs, and just as you do that, you will notice that indeed there is no need to appropriate any kind of negative beliefs about yourself based on somebody's words or based on somebody's behavior or based on somebody's actions. So then if you're doing this exercise at home as a preemptive process, which is what I again recommend doing maybe even on a daily basis. For a while I used to do this every single day. I would dispute my beliefs, and you will see it's such a healing process, especially if you're dealing with anxiety. If you have a lot of anxiety, this ABCD model is priceless, because you can just simply take this anxiety in this moment and now. You don't really need a situation that explodes your emotions, and you can already work through the beliefs that are causing that anxiety. It's one of the #1 tools to heal it, actually. And I know many people right now are dealing with anxiety. That's why I bring this up. Then the last 2 steps is about fast forward, so reframing our response. Basically this means that how would I like to respond next time? So I know this time I exploded, this time I cried, this time I deleted this guy's number from my telephone, or actually even worse, maybe I wrote him a very offensive message. So what would I do differently next time? And this is where you describe this in the framing or fast forward part. And then we come to the G part, and this is an important one, which is not mentioned in the model, the original model, but I introduced because I feel that it is good to walk through life with an expectation, with an intention. So what kind of relationships do you intend to bring about into your reality? Like in the case of the question where we talked about toxic people earlier. Ideally, we would like to walk through life without being faced with this kind of people. So it is my intention to attract people who are empowering to me. It is my intention to attract people into my life who are reflecting my equanimity, who are reflecting my kindness, who are reflecting my compassion, not the opposites polarities, right? So when you frame this goal, what we're actually doing is we're telling our subconscious mind that I understand you have a need to heal, and I understand that you're going to present me with opportunities to do so. I acknowledge this and I accept the challenge. However, from now on, I wish this to be shown to me in positive examples, in empowering ways, not in destructive or painful experiences. And with this thought, we conclude the model.